Quick disclaimer. I'm aware of the irony that some people might see in making a YouTube video criticizing social media, but I don't see YouTube as being social media. I'm talking about all the other ones: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Don't come at me with, well, YouTube is social media, because I'm not talking about that, alright? Welcome back. Social media sucks. This is quite a different type of video to the ones I normally make, but it's something that I do feel strongly about and quite passionate about. It has been mentioned by me on the channel from time to time or in comments and stuff that I really do not like social media. It's a topic that's been spoken about a lot. People are very aware of the harms that, social media has. I wanted to give my insights into it because I am very much of the camp of just pull the plug, basically. The first point I'd like to bring up is something that I don't think a lot of people are really aware of, which is that you don't have to use social media.
What?
Social media wouldn't exist if people didn't use it. It is using you, essentially, to exist, to subsist itself off your thoughts and dramas and your oversharing. Particularly in recent years, in the 2020s, a lot of it just seems to have gotten worse. It's become more cringe. The fact that TikTok has become as popular as it has and has divulged so much about society and people and individuals, more importantly, it's really disheartening. So many people would benefit from not using it ever and just keeping your problems to yourself sometimes. I don't use TikTok, I don't use Facebook, I don't use TikTok, I don't use Twitter, I don't use Instagram, I don't use Snapchat, Blue Sky, Truth Social, whatever platform. I do not use it because to me they're all the same. It's just a complete and utter waste of time and unnecessary, and does my mental health really no favors at all. And it took me a long time to learn that, and I understand how it is an addiction, essentially, like anything else. In some ways it's harder to stop than other addictions. Cigarettes, for example, you have to actually go to the store to buy cigarettes and spend money, quite a lot of money these days. Whereas social media, it's just here on your phone whenever you want it, right? And your phone is always to hand. So I understand how this becomes a problem because I've experienced it myself. I've had the little tick in my mind where if I'm waiting for a bus or waiting to cross the road and I have literally 15 seconds where my brain isn't doing anything, my brain goes, check Facebook. Why? What's the point? What am I gonna have missed out on in the last 20 minutes, And it was a struggle for me to get off, don't get me wrong. It wasn't easy, but I did multiple times. But I haven't been on Facebook for maybe 2 years, and I will never go back on. In my absence from all social media, it's just made me realize how much of a waste of time it is and how it doesn't do anyone any good. I think I'm just particularly sensitive to it for some reason. I don't know why. That's my little preamble of how I feel about social media. Another point is that FOMO, fear of missing out, is bullshit. The fact of the matter is, you are missing out currently, right now, as you're watching this, you are missing out on a lot of things going on in the world. Whether it's a gig, whether it's some street festival, whether it's a special offer at a McDonald's or something, you are missing out on everything all the time because you can only be doing one thing at a time. So there's an infinite number of other things that you are currently missing out on. All social media is doing is just making you feel bad about stuff that you're missing out on, despite the fact that you can't do anything about the fact that you're missing out on it. It's just going, here, look at this nice thing that you don't have. That's horrible. To me, that just makes no sense why you would submit yourself to that. As soon as I saw the term fear of missing out, I'm like, do people actually feel that way? That's actually got a name? People have always been missing out on things since the dawn of time. The only difference is now you can see that you're missing out on it. But if you turn it off, you'll never know. It'll keep happening. obviously, but you're not going to know. So it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. The irony of social media is, it's to keep us more connected, right? That was the whole point of it in the first place. I'm sure you watching this now, you know that that's not the case. Again, I'm speaking from my perspective largely, but I think, I'm not alone in feeling these ways. It makes us more connected, right? We can message each other at any time, right? But what that then entails is that we actually see each other less in person, like humans have always done. So yeah, while we might be more connected than ever, the reality is we've become much more reliant on messaging apps and stuff. Look at my family, my holiday photos. Rather than meeting up with the person that you want to share them with and say, here, look at this one, and then look at this one. All right, that might be a boring thing to do and a boring example, frankly, but it illustrates the point. It's taking human connection and commodifying it. And I don't know about you, but I'm not for that. If I want to share something with someone and they're too far away for me to do so, which is, does happen often. We all have friends around the world, right? You can still message them on not social media, whether it's an email or whether it's WhatsApp or whatever messaging service that doesn't have all the needless fluff that comes with social media. I am encouraging to delete all social media because it would benefit you, whoever you are watching this. What I'm not saying is, cut off your friends and family, never speak to them again. That's not what I'm implying. What I'm saying is you can still be in contact with these people through other means, without all the bullshit that comes with a social media platform and manipulation and, the constant endless scroll and, having your literally years of your life wasted staring at a bloody screen. You can still keep in contact with everyone who has a phone, at least, or at least a landline. People survived for a long time before social media was invented. Not to sound incredibly old-fashioned, but I think things were better then. Social media went from being this, messaging, keeping us in contact thing, to just a pure attention seeking, just ranting online. And I'm guilty of this myself. I was guilty of this myself. And this is something weird. It got to a point where I would have a thought, a thought just pops into your mind about some random thing. And instead of going, that's an interesting thought, and then moving on, my first instinct was, that's an interesting thought. I'm going to post it to Facebook and see what the world thinks. The penguin's dream. Just puerile nonsense. If I didn't get the attention that I think it deserves, whatever the hell that means, then I'd get upset about it. I've heard stories of, Instagram models taking like 100 photos, picking one that's the best one, whatever that means, and posting it, and because it didn't get 3 million likes, it only got 1 million likes, they take it down because that's upsetting. It's so weird. I don't feel like it's healthy to be seeking validation from complete strangers on the internet. I don't think that's normal. I don't think human species was designed to do that. It's a very new thing in terms of human history, the internet anyway, but it's been used for the most self-serving, egotistical, narcissistic reasons. I've seen that happen to friends of mine as well, like people that I've known for years. A pretty girl gets an Instagram account. Within 2 years, she's an Instagram model. What the hell does that mean? You're just getting your boobs out, not out, but being very revealing for strangers on the internet. No shame to, people who work in the adult industries. You do you, but it's weird to see your friends start doing it in a very casual, purely attention-seeking way, not even for any financial reason. It's weird. A big part of why I left social media, and I implore you to do the same, something that I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to include it in this video because it's important, is the ridiculous mental health decline that we've seen in the existence of social media, particularly among younger people, Gen Z. Gen Z, you're all nuts. Okay, not all Gen Z. Let me clarify. But Gen Z is insane in a way that no other generation has been, particularly with TikTok. It was the perfect app at the perfect time for this generation, I think. And I feel bad for Gen Z, this just being available You know, I don't really. It's sad. And the mental health decline, it's no coincidence that it's happened at the same time as social media being around. I would hazard a guess that the last time there was a comparable mass mental health decline would probably have been around World War II or something. Probably not as bad as that, but people are they just do weird things on camera for complete strangers. I'll tell you a quick story. One time when I quit Facebook, a friend of mine who I'd known since we were like 16 or something, we hadn't seen each other for years, and are probably never going to see each other again. Not because we hate each other, just because, you know, life gets in the way, you move to different countries, whatever. So in reality, I don't really need to see what he's up to, you know? What's the point? This friend of mine posted this picture of this really nice house with some quote along the lines of, "So, I just bought a house today. What did you do?" And I was like, you arrogant prick. What did I do today? I went and worked my really, really hard manual labor job for just above minimum wage. So, fuck you. That hit me hard because that just made me feel bad about my life. Like, all of a sudden, I had a good day, I had no problems at the time, I had no woes, really, and then that, just out of nowhere, from a friend of mine, just made me feel terrible. That was when I was probably in my late 20s, and so if that can affect me as a proper adult, what the hell is it doing to 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, who, being a teenager is already difficult enough, and you've got all of these people, and particularly TikTok. It's been rumored, allegedly, TikTok prioritizes people who it detects are typically attractive people. So the more pretty you are, the more popular you're going to be. The more people are going to see you, the more people are going to feel bad about their average looks. You know, there's so many things like this, and it drives me up the wall that this is just accepted now. It's very sad. Something that, again, is kind of obvious, and I don't really need to go into it, but I'll, you know, for the sake of completionism, privacy. Who has privacy anymore? This wasn't a thing before social media. The internet used to be much more anonymous, and not in like a heinous way, but people on Facebook, they put like their actual address and like their workplace and their specific family members, their brothers, sisters, whatever. The thing is, no one's forcing them to do it either. Maybe people don't do it anymore, I don't know. But it was just like there's an empty line asking for my address, so I'm just going to give it my address, you know? Not only that, but of course, Facebook has been proven to be pretty shady with personal information in general, so I don't like that. I'm a very private person, despite the fact that I, you know, show my face on camera on YouTube. But you'll never know where I live, you'll never know my address or my national insurance number, you know. It's weird that it's been normalized, and I don't like it. Something also that I grew very, 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 very tired of was endless arguing on social media. I'm talking about Facebook because Facebook was the one I was generally on. Twitter's pretty bad for this, or X, for those who insist on calling it that. Just endless arguing, back and forth, left, right, blah, 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 blah. You're wrong, I'm right. And the thing is, no one's ever going to convince anyone of anything on social media. If someone is a racist, no one on social media is ever going to convince them to not be. If someone is a homophobe, no one on social media is ever going to convince them not to be. It's such a waste of time even engaging in this topic, and I don't know why we do it. I'm guilty of it myself. Not anymore, but you know, I got pulled into these arguments about important topics, but arguing with the wrong people. There's no good person to argue with, because like I said, you're never going to convince anyone of any point of view. People already have their minds made up. You're just flogging a dead horse. Again, it's just a waste of time. All of these points are kind of infused with the fact that it's just a waste of your time. We only have a certain amount of time on this earth. Do you really want to spend it going, I think you're wrong about such and such and such? Like, it's pointless and unnecessary. You don't need to do it. I know I've been very negative about social media, and with good reason, but there are some good points to it. there can be a sense of community. For example, I'm a huge Prodigy fan, and one of the last things that kept me on Facebook was this Prodigy fan group. Like, there was a bunch of people, we all kind of knew each other from afar, and that was kind of fun. That was probably the last fun experience I had on social media. But I realized I can live without it. If it was just that group that I could just isolate from Facebook, then I do that. But there's so much bollocks that comes with Facebook in general that it seemed worthwhile to get rid of that nice social group and just move on with my life. It's not necessary. There was no anchor like chaining me to that group. It was a decision to leave Facebook, and you know, it's a sad fact that I lost that group, but not the end of the world. So I've made myself very, very clear. I hope this pushes you to remove yourself from whatever social media platform has got its fingernails into your back. You'd be much better off without it. I honestly don't miss it at all. The inconveniences of having let it go are minor compared to the mental health improvements that I've had since letting it go, and the amount of free time that I have, and the constant niggling feeling like I need to check this thing that isn't real. That's worth it. That's very much worth it. It's given me more time to think and to evaluate things in a sensible way, and to not waste my time on unnecessary nonsense. So there's one thing that I wrote down here, which is what I will leave you with, which is a quote. I mean, I wrote it down. It's a quote from me, but I'm sure it's been worded in other ways by other people, which is that if something has no barrier to entry, is free, anyone can do it, and it takes no skill, it's probably a waste of time. You can quote me on that if you feel like it. I think that sums it up really, really well. It's just a waste of your time. Get good at something and do it. Learn to play the violin or something. It'll be much more rewarding. Get in contact with an old friend via text, someone who you've not spoken to for a while and who you don't see on social media, whatever. Just go through your contacts on your phone and just go, hey, I haven't spoken to Roy in 6 months. I wonder what he's doing. Like, people will prefer that to you just liking one of their posts. It means more when an individual off their own back gets in contact with another individual, you know? I like that when I haven't heard from someone in ages. I'm like, wow, hi, Barry. I don't know anyone called Barry. How are you doing? Wow, it's nice that you got in touch. You know, it's much more meaningful. And if the person's too far away to just turn up to your house, then that's the only option, right? But that's better than just, I'm going to scream something into the void and hope that someone clicks a button in acknowledgement. What a waste of time. So I hope this has been enlightening for you. I know a lot of these things are probably not news to anyone, but I just wanted to get this off my chest and do a bit of a different video for my channel. Perhaps I will go into more depths about social media, but I'm no expert because I've avoided it as much as possible for the last 10 years. But there is hope. You can do it. You can quit. And you'll be better for it. If you're new, then consider subscribing. I usually talk about music and stuff, but going forward I think I might be expanding my topics. And if you are already subscribed, then thank you for watching. It means a lot. And if you wish, you can support me on Buy Me a Coffee. And by the way, I have actually thought of how to end videos yet, which is by saying Mene Pois.